everyone, so we're gonna make a brand new Flutter project, and I'm gonna go to my desktop and then Flutter create API example, and then I'll just drag and drop the folder over, and we have our project ready to go here. I will just run it so then I can make sure that it works. So here I'll just make sure I have my iPhone set up here, and I will go to libs folder, main, and I will start debugging. So now that we got our app running and we know it's working, we can start cleaning up this project a little bit so then we can start developing. So let me just open up the screen here a little bit, and I'll get rid of this green text here. And I'll get rid of these classes here. And I'm going to be making a home screen, so I will change this to home screen, and what I'll be doing is I will organize this file a little bit better here. I'll make a folder, I'll make it screen, and actually it will be file home.dart, put it lowercase, home.dart. And what I'll do next is I will start setting up the code here. So I will make sure this extends stateful widget, and make sure I have this super key set up, and I will add override, create home screen state, and now I'll make another class for the home screen state, and then this is where we're going to start adding in all of our code. So before I get started, let me also make sure I get rid of this error here. I'll have to import the screen home.dart here at the top. So now we got that error to go away. And you can see here we got the home in the app bar and home in the body like we see on the screen. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make sure that I'm able to fetch the information. I'll make some sort of floating action button, so floating action button, and here this is where we're going to add the on pressed. So on pressed we're going to fetch users, and then in the child, sure, we can have an icon. I don't think it really matters though, but here I'll make sure I add the comma to get rid of the error. But here, since we're going to call a function, I'm just going to put the function here inside the class still, but at the bottom, void fetch users, and then we'll put async const URL. We're going to have this random user URL here. So let me show you what this random user URL looks like. So if I go online here, this is what it looks like here. We have some results. I can see we have 3 items, and in our results, 1, 2, 3, there you go. We got some sort of object, and we have all these different key value pairs. And we're just going to be using a few of them here and seeing how we can grab the information. So let's go and let's take a look at this. The results is in an array. So we're going to have to make some sort of list in order to store this information. And you can see inside this list we have an object with some key value pairs, and then inside the object we also have some more key value pairs. So we're going to see how we're able to grab the information. Okay, so now that we have that URL set up, we're going to have to also install this URL. Let me see here. So we're going to have to install this package. So right over here, if we move this over, I'm going to have to install this http.dart. So I will add two dependencies, so it's installing. And now I'm going to be able to call and grab information from that URL. And what we're going to do is we're going to, once we grab the stuff from the URL, we're going to get the stuff from the URL, and then we're going to have some sort of final body equals response.body. So we're going to grab the information, and then final JSON. We're going to use JSON decode the body, so then we can grab that information. And then we're going to set state user equals to JSON results. So results is that right over here. If we go here, we got this results right there. That's what we're calling results. And what we're going to be doing is here, these users, because we're storing the users, we need to make a list here in our home screen. So list dynamic users of array. So we're going to store all that stuff. And in here we have results, JSON results, let's see, isn't defined for JSON codec. Let's see what's wrong. Void users. Okay. It's just a spacing. That's interesting. So needed to space after async. Okay. And just to make sure that it worked, and we'll say finished. So whenever we click on the button, we should call this function and we should see fetch users and then finished each time that we click it. So I'm going to save this, go to my debug console. I'm going to click this. You can see every time I click it, fetch user and then also finished comes afterwards, after like a millisecond or something, because we have this async await, so it's awaiting until it grabs the information, and then it can decode all of that information with the key value pairs, and we're going to be grabbing all those values and putting it into this list here that we've set up using the set state. And now what we need to do is we need to actually display it on our screen. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to show this stuff on the screen. So we'll put API call, and then we're going to, in the body now, show all the information. So here in the body, we're going to set up a list view dot builder. So we're going to count the number of users there, and let me check, I think it's missing a bracket there. And okay, it's missing another bracket there. There we go. So we're grabbing the item count, we have context, index, final user, we're going to have some user based on the index. It's going to start at 0 and then loop through everything. So whenever we're looping through, you can see here inside results, based on whatever position 1 or 0, 1, 2, because it's an array, it always starts at 0. So position 0, we're just going to grab the email, which is, let's see here, email right there, and then we're also going to grab whatever the first and last name or something. So let's go over here, and we're going to set up, let's set up the email is equal to user email. So we have to grab that email key as a string. And what we're going to do is let's return list tile leading circle avatar, and I'm just going to put a text of index +1, so we always start at 1 because remember arrays start at 0, so we want to do +1 each time as it loops through. And then we're going to add the title, which is text. Sure, we could just make it the email for now, I'll change it later. But we can see here we got the email beside each of the numbers because the circle avatar, the leading is on the left side, and it's just adding +1 because remember it starts at 0. If I remove that +1, you can see it starts at 0, 1, 2. We don't want that. We want it to start at 1 because that's how we count usually. 1, 2, 3. And now we got everything ordered nicely. And what I'll do is I'll also put a final name is equal to user name first as string. And what we're going to do is actually we're going to put the name here, and then I'll put a subtitle for text email. There we go. That looks much nicer. And what I think I'll do as well is I'll put a final last name is equal to user name last, and I'll put text plus last name and interpolation. Okay, so let's do that. So we have the first and last name there with the email right underneath. So this is how we're able to grab the information from the URL and then display it on our screen.